as they file in. Please let's rise for the procession. We want to welcome the deans and directors in the procession and all the principal officers of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, as the filing for this. Anthem.
School of
Thank you very much. Please, let's have our seats. Let's have our seats. As we can see, we are here for the 80th inaugural lecture of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. And on the high table leading the procession here, first permit me to introduce to you the Vice Chancellor, Professor Olushola Babatunde Kehinde, Fellow Genetic Society of Nigeria, Fellow Institute of Health and Safety, ably and strongly represented here today by the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Development, ably and strongly represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Development, Professor Kola Adebayo. Please a round of applause for him. We also have here on the high table, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor Christian Ikeobi. Please a round of applause for him. You're welcome, sir. The Registrar is here with us also. Please may we appreciate Dr. Bola Adekola. And our acting bossa, Mr. Olukayode Oshinuga. The University Librarian, Dr. Abayomi Kehinde Owolabi. You're welcome, sir. And the Dean, College of Physical Sciences, the college of our inaugural lecturer. Please let's welcome Professor Adiu Taufik Akinwale. You're welcome, sir. The HOD of our inaugural lecturer, Professor Mrs. Oluwaseyifumi Tale Arogundade. You're welcome, ma. You know, it's obvious that computer has revolutionized the world into a global village. And virtually everything we do is linked to the computers exchanging data. But with its advantages, many of us still have our reservations on how secure the cyberspace is, which brings us to the reality of today, especially in Nigeria. The fear of Yahoo Yahoo is the beginning of wisdom. However, today, our inaugural lecturer is about to broaden our knowledge on the muddy waters in winning the revolutionized cybersecurity game, as the title of his inaugural lecture. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome from the Department of Computer Science, College of Physical Sciences, COFIS, a professor of computer science and information security, Professor Adesina Simon Sodiya. Thank you very much, sir. We also welcome the Professor Sodiya's family, led by his beautiful wife, Professor Comfort Ibironke Sodiya. You're welcome, ma. I can actually take another look at you because you're beautiful. And we'll be given that permission by our last inaugural lecturer that we can look and bring out the breeder in us. Thank you, you're welcome, ma. I also welcome I can see a synergy between the college, Colamrod and COFIS here. Members of staff of COFIS and Colamrod, please a round of applause for you. You're welcome. Thank you very much. And to all eminent guests and personalities here invited, we welcome you very much to this 80th inaugural lecture. To this end, permit me to specially invite our Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Development, Professor Kola Adebayo, to come and invite the inaugural lecture and for the Vice Chancellor's address.
Will the inaugural lecturer stand and remain standing? The Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, the Registrar, the Bossa, the University Librarian, the inaugural lecturer, Professor Adesina Simon Sodiya, Dean, College of Physical Sciences, COFIS, deans of other colleges, student affairs, and the postgraduate school, directors of institutes and centers, head of the Department of Computer Science, other heads of department and unit, all academic and non-teaching staff, members of the Sodiya family. I must specially recognize Professor Comfort Ibironke Sodiya, and I'm sure you know why. All special guests and friends of the university, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, great Funabites. It is with great delight that I welcome you to the 88th inaugural lecture of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Nigeria, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Olushola Babatunde Kehinde. Today's inaugural lecturer, Professor Simon Adesina Sodiya, is a professor of computer science and information security, currently in the Department of Computer Science of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Ogun State, Nigeria. He completed his PhD in computer science in 2004 with a focus on cybersecurity and digital forensics. He has taught courses in many areas of computer science and cybersecurity at undergraduate and postgraduate levels. As a pioneer researcher in the field of information security in Nigeria, he has over 25 years experience in conducting high-impact research in cybersecurity, attack and intrusion detection, authentication systems, cryptography, system security, privacy protection, and security of distributed systems. He has supervised 8 PhDs and over 20 master students in different areas of cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and computer science. He is presently serving as postgraduate external examiner and assessor in 5 universities, locally and internationally. He has published over 100 scholarly articles in local and international journals. He has also presented papers at both local and international conferences, resulting in over 30 papers in referred conference proceedings. In this university, Professor Sodiya has served as departmental postgraduate coordinator between 2008 and 2013. And he was acting head of computer science department between 2013 and 2015. He has also served as a member of university academic committees, such as the curriculum committee and college promotion assessment panels. He is currently a member of the appointment and promotions committee for academic staff, APCAS, and a member of the University Senate. He was the editor-in-chief of the Journal of Computer Science and its Applications between 2011 and 2013. He is the current editor-in-chief of the Journal of Information Security, Privacy, and Digital Forensics between 2015 and 2018, as well as from 2021 till date. In 2005, Professor Sodiya won the fellowship of the United Nations University in conjunction with the International Institute of Software Technology. In 2010, he won the TUAS AAS Microsoft Award for Outstanding Computer Science Researcher living and working in Africa. He has also won several leadership excellence in research and professional awards. As a core professional, Professor Sodiya is a fellow of the Nigeria Computer Society and has served as Vice President and Vice Chairman of the Computer Professional Registration Council of Nigeria between 2015 and 2017. Professor Adesina Sodiya has been serving as a member of the National Executive Council of the Nigeria Computer Society since 2011. He is also a past president of the Information Technology Systems and Security Professionals, ITSSP. He is a member of the International Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, IEEE. Apart from representing Nigeria in the International Federation of Information Processing, he is also a member of 2 technical committees, the one on ICT and Education, TC3, and the one on Security and TC11. He is a member of the Global Commission for the Stability of Cyberspace. He is currently the Ogun State Technical Advisor for the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAM. Professor Sodiya is the current president of the Nigeria Computer Society. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Professor Sodiya has served at different times as a member of the Council of Computer Professionals Registration Council of Nigeria and a member of the government board of the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. He is currently representing the Nigeria Computer Society in the Broadband Implementation Committee of the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. He currently became the chairman, Board of Diplomates of the Chartered Institute of Forensic and Certified Fraud Investigators in Nigeria. Professor Sodiya is married to Professor Comfort Ibirunke Sodiya, and the marriage is blessed with children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to invite, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Babatunde Kehinde, Professor Adesina Simon Sodiya of the Department of Computer Science to present his inaugural lecture titled "The Muddy Waters in Winning Revolutionized Cybersecurity's Game." Thank you all, and God bless.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I stand before you this afternoon to present my inaugural lecture as a professor of computer science and information security in the Department of Computer Science. The title of the inaugural lecture is The Muddy Waters in Winning the Revolutionized Cybersecurity Game. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I'm highly delighted and privileged to stand before you, your management team, this distinguished audience, to present this inaugural lecture as a professor in the Department of Computer Science, College of Physical Sciences of this great university. My journey in the university started as a senior system analyst in 1995. So I joined this university as a non-academic staff in 1995. Then I was in Bostry Department. In 2001, I joined the defunct Department of Mathematical Sciences as an assistant lecturer. I then rose through the ranks to become a professor in 2015. This inaugural lecture is the second from the Department of Computer Science and the third from the defunct Mathematical Science Department. The first in that department, titled Tutu Quality in Mathematical Panacea for National Productivity Improvement, was delivered by former Vice Chancellor of this university, Professor A.L.T. Akinwale, in 1999. Professor A.L.T. Sholari in 1999. The first from my department was actually delivered by my current dean, Professor A.T. Akinwale. And this lecture is also the sixth inaugural lecture from the College of Physical Sciences, coming after those of Professor Olofela of Physics Department, Professor Romosele, Professor Akinlabi, Professor Dari, all of Department of Chemistry. This inaugural lecture, of course, offers me a remarkable opportunity for me as a professor to inform colleagues in this university and the general public about the trends, progress, stellar achievements in my core area of research, cybersecurity and information security. The topic of my inaugural lecture is titled The Muddy Waters in Winning the Revolutionized Cybersecurity Game. And it was carefully chosen to enable me to introduce my research interests, discuss my scholarly achievements, and analyze some implications in the chosen field of cybersecurity. I wish to inform Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, that I belong to the first generation of professors in the field of cybersecurity in Nigeria. I will be presenting my general contributions to learning, research, and service to the university and the wider community. I crave the indulgence of all of us at this gathering to join me as we explore the digital space and the cyber world. Well, my field is computer science, and I feel I have to say something about my field. It has become an interesting field. Of course, you all agree with me that the field of computer science is making impact in everything we do in the world today. That field started a long time ago, and it has become a very relevant field in all we do today all over the world. So I want to define computer science as a systematic study of the feasibility, expressions, theories, models, processes, methods, technologies that underlie data acquisition, representation, processing, management, storage, communication, and access to information. You agree with me that all the things we do in the field of All the things we do is in computing has to do with data acquisition, data representation, processing. Use technologies and tools in running digital events. Our affairs also out a platform. We need to know where we stand, and we need to know why there is a major concern about cybersecurity today. When we started when there's nothing like community. We have systems that also submit to that system. Some of us remember days of mini computers and so on and so forth. Not talking about connectivity, but it's moved to this connectivity platform. Local area network, we started having it also popular in connectivity platform. We again solutions is our running on the internet. And then we are talking about services, about more services, data, and so on and so forth. We move to the fourth type, the world of AI. That is the world of Internet of Things. That is the world of AI. I decided to talk about this because as we move from the bottom of the ladder towards the top of the ladder, of the sources that individuals, scientists are also producing on the internet, on our digital infrastructure is also growing. Because of that, the cyber criminals continue to show interest in the resources that people are making available on the digital infrastructure. So as we move from the bottom of the ladder to the top, we have numerous resources, data, files, systems, applications of organizations, of individuals that are now available to these cyber criminals. So that is why we need to be very concerned as individuals, as organizations. Every one of us must be concerned with the issue of cybersecurity. Well, I want to define what is information security. Information security is concerned about protecting information and system resources from unauthorized access and use, unauthorized disruption, modification, perusal, inspection, decoding, and destruction. The issue is that anybody that is not expected to see what we have, anybody that is expected to have access to information must not have access to that information. And that is what we have been doing to prevent and protect our digital resources, our digital access from unauthorized access, from destruction, from recording, from perusal, from modification, and from destruction. There are common related terms to information security. In fact, information security is another term. Okay? So other terms that are related to information security, internet security, that is talking about security of resources. We also talk about trust security, and that is concerned with the security of our resources and assets. And that's how base. Then we also talk about computer system security, and this is concerned about security of individual systems that are also being used for day activities. Then also talk about security. Cyber security today is even getting more popular than information security because the concern now is many of applications are now running on the internet, and many organizations have moved their services so security is a top component of information security. It's now becoming more popular and people define information security. So as we go along in this presentation, we will also be using information security and cyber security. Security is about to call making of the system. The other cybersecurity goals have no application. This is a good term. Say identity in digital space cannot deny having information in and the other one, authenticity. It is that you know all the entities, the players in this. So we have another security goals, but the security goals especially in integrity. if it's still the credentials that belong to another staff in that organization, I will just go and use this credential, and of course, the business system knows to identify anybody in the digital space in their relations. And that is why any of us must be conscious of how we use, how we save, how we manage our credentials. So if I'm able to steal the credential that belongs to the staff in the organization, I can go and use the credentials. And when I'm talking about credentials, I'm talking about maybe username, passport, and so on and so forth. Then I think most of them know where and if we talk about malicious software, we talk about virus, hardware, we talk about even software that is also malware. And like I said, that I created in order to attack on the system. Everybody can virus, malicious software. If you want to have an system. In the world of cybersecurity, we normally say that we have to be very careful. We should not be too greedy. Because what usually lead our people to go to a situation where they will be providing their credentials is because they are also looking for additional resources, additional money that is not there. They have forgotten that there is no free money anywhere. I gave an example. If you look at these two URLs that I wrote here, I don't know whether you would be able to notice any difference in the URL of Guaranteed Trust Bank. If you are smart enough, you will be able to notice difference. But if you are not smart enough, you will say that, yes, I'm used to this URL. And if the URL is sent to you by a criminal, and you go and click on it, and you start interacting with that URL as if it's the original website. The truth is that by the time you get to that URL, our people are very smart. We have seen the websites of some banks that are fake websites. And you would think, in fact, almost 100% original. They will be looking almost 100% original. And when you get there, yes, this is a Guaranteed Trust Bank website, and you start interacting with that website, you have you have really created a lot of problems for you. Now, again, another set of attack is authentication attack. I want to tell all of us, in fact, all of us must have known by now that the first level of defense to any system is authentication system. There is no system, there is no application that you use that will not ask you to supply your password, supply your username. Even if there is going to be additional security barrier, the first level of defense is the authentication system. And cyber criminals know, they are aware that if you are able to penetrate authentication system, if you are able to circumvent authentication system, or if you are able to destroy authentication system, you have unlimited access to systems and applications. So there are several attacks to authentication system. We have dictionary attack, brute force attack, shoulder surfing attack, key logging attack, hybrid attack, I'm not going to have enough time to start explaining all this, but by the time you have the inaugural lecture, you will be able to understand. Now, we also have denial of service attack. This is a type of attack that is usually perpetrated on distributed systems. You know, most banking applications, most resources now are distributed applications. And what they do is to try to get hold of a node on a network. And if I say a node, I'm talking about a computer. By the time they get hold of that node, they will now use the node to perpetrate further attack on that system. And I want to inform you that even banks in Nigeria, I know about 2-3 banks that experienced disputed denial of service attack last year. And of course, they are not going to mention it. They are not going to say it. But the truth is that it is a common attack, and more and more organizations are being faced with this attack. Then the last one I want to talk about is ransomware. I'm aware that there is a colleague in this university that has actually reported to me that the email account was hijacked. And what they do is that they will encrypt your email address. Well, what I mean by encryption is converting your account to codes. And you will not be able to do anything with that account. And of course, if they are able to do it for 1 million people, and they are even asking you to pay only $10, you know the amount the attacker is going to realize. Now, I also want to mention motive for cyber attack. Well, we have been talking about cyber attacks. Why are criminals interested in cyber attacks? In fact, it is not really that all the people that perpetrate cyber attack are criminals. That is just the truth. And you will see from this slide, for the purpose of vendetta, for the purpose of revenge, you know, somebody has done something to me, I want to shut down the website. For pleasure, you know, I want to see what I can even achieve as a person, you know. And for hackers ethics, of course, in the world of hacking, we have what we call ethical hacker, you know, white hackers. You know, these are not considered to be criminals because they help organizations to be able to improve on security of their systems, of their applications. But you cannot hack any system, even for ethical purposes, without getting approval today. Because the truth is that we have a law in Nigeria now, the Cybercrime Act of 2015, and it prevents anyone, even if you are an unethical hacker, to try to hack any system is indeed a criminal, except the organization actually give you authority to do it. And for the purpose of terrorism, well, it has been said that we have been saying it for some years ago, that the next world war will be fought on the digital space. But unfortunately, the war between Russia and Ukraine started and is not being fought on the digital space. Well, for political and military espionage, you know, yes, I want to monitor, I want to see what is going on in another government so that we can actually prepare my military better. Okay, well, cybersecurity life cycle. I will want to skip this. Now I want to go to my research focus. And I think I've been able to provide a little bit of background to the field of cybersecurity. Is that building software systems that are secure from the scratch. We discovered that some of the defects that usually come with the development of software also lead into a situation where hackers will exploit these defects and be able to break into software systems. Then I've also made a number of contributions to authentication systems, intrusion detection system, phishing detection, malware detection, distributed denial of service attack. Well, one work that I'm really happy with is this work, Sodiya et al. 2006. I was reading a book on secure software engineering last year. That book was actually written last year. And I discovered that this work was cited in that book. And when I discovered and I was reading that book, I was also laughing myself that the work I did several years ago is still having relevant today. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, this work, I'm the first researcher that actually proposed laws of software security. What we did was that software development, what our people have been doing is they will build software, and when they finish building the software, they will now think of bolting security on it. But the concept of secure software engineering has to do with the fact that as you start building the software system, you also start introducing the concept of security to it. And that is what we mean by secure software engineering. And we actually did this work, and this work forms part of the foundation to the study that so many researchers have done in the field of secure software engineering. In the field of authentication system, well, I didn't explain what keylogging attack means. Keylogging has to do with systems or hardware system to capture. And what is done is that when they capture these keystrokes, they will now use it to go and perpetrate attack on the system. And what we have done that so many developers of security applications today are now using today is that we created, when a user logs into a system, when you want to start working on a system, you must register and supply your password. When you supply your password, what the system will do is actually to create a full string, what we call full string, and that full string will be mixed with your password. And we now have the full password. And it's the full password that will be used for authentication and verification. And what that means is that if the password is even hijacked or is taken anyhow, you cannot use that password for any authentication. So for us to solve the problem of authentication, keylogging attack, we develop what we call SCAPAC algorithm. And of course, some of us that are using GTB Bank app today, you will know that when you enter your PIN, by the time you click OK, additional characters will be added. That is done in order to ensure that if anybody is trying to capture the password remotely, what the person will capture will not be original password, but for the full password. And that is what we have done in this work. In the field of, we also did some other work in the field of authentication. I will go to the field of intrusion detection system. Intrusion detection system are systems that work underneath. They work on notice. I said it the other time, Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir. I am the first researcher to intrusion detection problems. And what is this problem? There were two major problems of intrusion detection at that time. And we call those problems false positive and false negative. What we did in this work is actually to have two levels of profiling: individual profiling and sequential profiling. And this work at this time actually changed the order in the field of intrusion detection system. Again, we also went further to solve the problem of privacy in intrusion detection system. I wish to say that when we are building intrusion detection system will work on data. whether network log, system log, audit tray, and so on and so forth. And because of this, the information available in these logs, are being revealed to people that develop intrusion detection system. So the issue of privacy became a major issue at that time, and we had to develop a method for solving privacy problem in intrusion detection system. The method we developed is known as pseudonymization approach, where we will be able to anonymize personally identifiable information. And what we mean by personally identifiable information are information that when you see, you will be able to trace them to entities available within the digital space. So we were able to conduct that work, that research, very interesting research, and we also got interesting results. And we also did something in the area of distributed system. And we adopted agent-based technology to be able to develop intrusion detection system that is suitable for distributed environment. In the work, we came up with two-level detection, level, upper level. The lower level is used to ensure that when there is suspicion that an action is intrusive, there will not be confirmation at that level. The suspicion will be sent to the upper level detection system that will further confirm and ascertain that that action is truly intrusive or not. So that is what we did in this work. Again, in some of the work we did in intrusion detection, we were able to get interesting results. We were able to get between 98% and 100% detection efficiency, far better than what we used to have before we conducted our work. We were able to get false alarm rates of between 0 and 2%, and so on and so forth. Again, I also did some work on phishing. Phishing has to do with recognizing the correct URL of organization. If you cannot recognize and identify the URL of organizations, and you find yourself and a fraudulent URL is presented to you, and you go into it, you have problems. So this work, Sodiya, originally and to Sodiya in 2017, we were able to come up with possible topics. And what we mean by topics? Topics are actually what will form component of URL, what will form the new component of URL, and that is what we do. And if you have to check, this system will be able to check whether the URL that is being presented to you is a fraudulent URL or not. Again, we were able to have interesting results in some of the work we did on phishing detection. In the work of Olusholu and Sodiya 2017, well, let me say that Olusholu was my PhD student. We actually worked using fish tank, and this is a data source that is being used when you want to evaluate any phishing detection system. And we got interesting results as you have seen. Again, I also did a number of work on malware detection. Generally we use AI techniques to be able to efficiently detect malware on digital infrastructure. Again, I also did something in the field of cybersecurity. It has gotten to a time now that we are trying to describe cybersecurity as a game. Because some of the traditional methods that we have been using, some of the approaches we have been developing in the past, you all agree with me that even with all the approaches, all the methods we have been developing, we are still having cyber attacks day in, day out. And that is why we are looking at another approach. And we want to look at the concept of game theoretics to be able to model the concept of cybersecurity. Well, if you are talking about a game, in any game, you talk about four major entities, four major elements. You talk about the players. And in the field of cybersecurity, the players are the attackers and the defenders. Then we talk about the actions that a player will make. Or if you are talking about actions, set of moves that a player can make. And the set of moves will also be based on strategy sets. Okay? So we talk about strategy sets in cybersecurity game. And the interest in any game, and as we also model cybersecurity as a game, is to have the highest payoff. And what do we mean by payoff? We are talking about having the highest gain, benefit, what we call it payoff in the field of cybersecurity. And the assumption in the field of game theory is that all players are expected to of the utility function, which determines the payoff gains by the attackers and the defender in a given play. It must be considered as a dynamic interaction between intelligent attackers and intelligent defenders. The attack-defense game should be modeled as a dynamic game. And of course, the interest in cybersecurity game is that optimal state must be reached. And we are using Nash equilibrium to represent the optimal state. The resulting model, based on the work we have done, is to represent cybersecurity game as a stochastic game, a probabilities game that has to do with random variables. And that is how we are modeling cybersecurity game. Well, if you look at this image, is to show that on the left side, you have the attack strategy set or attacker strategy set, and you have also defense strategy set. Those of us in the field of cybersecurity, we have been involved in developing defense mechanisms so that organizations, individuals will continue to protect their digital infrastructure. Who are the players in cybersecurity? Of course, I've been talking about cyber criminals. And who are we referring to? And I think the MC, when he was talking, he mentioned the Yahoo guys. They are also there. The hackers, the crackers, the social engineers, the cyber stalkers, and cyber spies, and so on and so forth. Then we have the cybersecurity solution providers. Majorly, that I fall as a researcher in cybersecurity, I fall into this category. And there are so many people in my department that are also in the field of cybersecurity. Organizations like Funaab also fall into this category. And we also have the whalers. The whalers are actually organizations, government, individuals, customers that will feel direct impact of cyber attacks. So you have other organizations also fall within this category. Then we are talking about the muddy waters in cybersecurity game. The literal meaning of muddy water is when a situation, issue, topic is unclear, is confusing, is lacking transparency, okay? And we brought that word to represent the elusive nature, the converse nature or covert activities that cyber criminals perform. When someone muddies the water, it means that the person is spreading misinformation, the person is embarking on masquerading deceit, presenting conflicting arguments, diverting attention to unrelated matters, and introducing unnecessary complexity. And of course, these are the things the cyber criminals do in order to dissuade or penetrate systems. The major issues in winning the revolutionized cybersecurity game. Well, a cyber criminal, some of us, you must have experiences. When we are talking about cyber criminals, we are talking about people that will present themselves to you as friends online. They will present themselves to you as owners of organizations, government officials, assistants, philanthropists, lovers, help seekers, experts, and so on and so forth. So cyber criminals will actually present themselves to you online in any form. And we must be careful. We must shine our eyes. And that is what we normally say in the field of cybersecurity. I hope we are shining our eyes in Funaab. Thank you, sir. These sophisticated approaches and methods, tactics, tools for cyber attack will continue to evolve. Cyber criminals are also using both existing and customized protocols, to get their target. And attacker strategies are constantly unclear, oblivious, and not definitive. Consequently, attack on digital infrastructure will continue to grow, and there will be increasing stories from the winners and the vanquished. The cyber world will continue to witness tremendous revolution because attack landscape is ever changing. The major issue is that many people are not unaware of these revolutionized games. How do we now navigate through the muddy waters of the revolutionized cybersecurity game? Navigating through this muddy water requires adopting coordinated, dynamic, novel, multi-level, multi-platform, multi-approach, multi-tactics, and multi-tier strategies for us to be able to ensure that we protect our digital space, our applications that are running online. Every of the players must be smart, both the attackers and the defenders, and they must show skills enough to be able to win the muddy water game, the game that we call a Rofo game in Yoruba. The two sacred winners of the Rofo game. Well, we say that the cybersecurity experts are winning. And we also say that the people in the other world, the digital underworld, are also winning. The issue is that it's so difficult to know the true winner. But because of the fact that organizations are still experiencing attacks today, those of us in the field of cybersecurity, we have not been able to guarantee 100% safety of digital assets, digital infrastructure. So the people in the digital underworld are also still winning. Because of the fact that the people in the underworld, the cyber criminals, They are using very little resources. And they are attacking organizations that have the value of the assets some of these organizations have is into billions of dollars. And because of this fact, some of these guys, you just see them with only a laptop or even their phone. They are doing a lot of work. They don't need much resources. They only need their brain. And the truth is that some of these guys are even more skillful than some of us that are trying to prevent them. But the truth is that we keep telling government that it has gotten to a situation where we also have to start annexing the skills and knowledge of these individuals. Because if you look at what I've said, the real winner by our assessment and by what I've said is still these cyber criminals. In conclusion, proactive strategies must be put in place by various organizations, including educational institutions like ours. Machine learning, artificial intelligence are two technologies that can also assist in building proactive security solutions. The muddy waters represent unstable and multi-form techniques used by cyber criminals in targeting their target. I want to inform all of us that in the world of cybersecurity, we even talk about zero-day attack. Attack that will come that is different from the forms that we have known before. Not from any strategy, not from any class, the method that will be used is even different from what we have been saying in the past. So what that means is that these cyber criminals, they continue to come up, evolve strategies and they are also not going to sleep. Those of us that are researchers, we are not sleeping. We'll continue to wage war with them. By staying informed and implementing best strategies and fostering collaboration, we can work towards moving to a more secure digital landscape. Well, I want to go to a recommendation for individuals. Apart from the common thing we know, that make sure you use two-factor authentication, make sure you don't share your password, and so on and so forth. These ones are also critical. We must enable an automatic software update on our system. And I know some of us don't really want to do this because you want to manage your internet. You don't want to spend money, but it's really very important because some of these providers of these tools and software system, when they notice any problem, any defect, they update their system. And when they update, they expect the user to also update their system. So we must do this from time to time. We must review privacy settings, regularly review connected application and permissions, be mindful of friend requests and connections, and so on and so forth. For government and corporate organizations, we must develop policy and plan for cybersecurity management in our organizations. We must conduct regular risk and vulnerability assessment on information technology platforms. Set up computer emergency response, no matter how little it is in our organizations. We must not wait until the organization is attacked. And that is why we must plan. We must set up SAT. Even for my vice chancellor, sir, we must set up SAT for this university. Some tertiary institutions in the past, I don't want to mention names because my colleagues from some of these institutions are also in this hall. I don't want to mention names. They have experienced cyber attack on their systems. And we need to be mindful. We should not get to a situation where we'll be faced with attack before we start reacting. Again, one special recommendation I have for the university system. My vice chancellor, sir, I need your attention. When I started, I actually mentioned some disciplines that actually emanated from computer science. I mentioned information technology, I mentioned cybersecurity, software engineering, computer engineering, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. My view, sir, these disciplines are known all over the world. We want this discipline to be known in Funaab too. Acknowledgement. I give glory and adoration to the Almighty God for his love over my life. The Lord has been my light. He has been so kind to me. He has been my source of inspiration from birth till now. I will ever remain grateful to you, Lord. I thank my parents. One of them is late. My father is late. Late Mr. Samson Ayla Sodiya. Died December 28, 2015. And my mother, Mrs. Christina Idowu Sodiya. My mother is here. Mama Shino, can you stand up? Thank you, ma. Mama, see fún wa, mama o, mama o, mama o. Olúwadá mama sí fún wa. I want to thank my parents a lot for their determination, restlessness, doggedness in making me to be successful in life. They taught me the ways of God, hard work, diligence, respect, honesty, and inculcating me the values of education. My parents actually borrowed, so their resources, made enormous resource sacrifices for me to have sound education. Adieu, Daddy. May you continue to rest in the blossom of the Almighty God. My mommy, fondly called Mama Shino, you are the best mother in the whole world. I appreciate you always, ma. I must also specially recognize my uncle. I'm very sure my uncle will also be joining us online. This my uncle is very special to me. I regard him as my second daddy. Chief Jonathan Oluwole Shoremi is currently in the US at the moment. When I first told him that I will be having my inaugural lecture, he said he will be coming, but unfortunately, he could not make it. For his immense support and unconditional love, encouragement, and support in my journey in life. You can see my daddy is in the middle here, okay, and my mommy right on the right side, on the left side. And of course, my uncle is also there and his sibling. This is Mama Shino and his husband, and her husband. This is my second daddy, okay? This is me and my mommy. Well, I also have a very good posture here. I also want to thank my siblings. Kayode Sodiya, Doyin Sodiya, Gbemi Sodiya, Kemi Aino, Sheyi Sodiya. I know Kayode and Gbemi and Doyin, they are all here. Can you stand up for recognition, my sibling? The other one, Kemi Aino, is not in the country at the moment. I appreciate all my cousins for the opportunities we had when we were growing to lean on each other. I want to mention specifically Dako Shoremi. I'm very sure he will also be joining us online. Yemi Shoremi, I've also seen him in this hall. Tunji Shoremi, Tunde Atobatele, Olumide Shoremi, my brother Ademolo Shoremi, Akinwumi Shoremi, Bukola Ayelabola, I have seen you, Akitunde Shoremi, and Yinka Olujimi. These are some of my siblings. Myself and some of my cousins. My uncle is in the middle. This is also another interesting family photo. I go further to recognize my secondary school mates. My vice chancellor, sir. I finished from the most important university in Ogun State. I mean, the most important secondary school in Ogun State. And you agree with me if I mention Baptist Boys High School. Our boys, newly seconders. Please, my secondary school mates, please stand up for recognition. You have seen the symbol of Baptist Boys High School. Some of them, Barrister Loyede, Dr. Femi Shueton, Dr. Tunde Shobande, Dr. Shogebi is there, Barrister Onofokwe, Dr. Jide Dasaolu is there, Engineer Showumi, our current president, Dr. Shegun Adeleye is there, he even came before me to this hall, and so on and so forth. I also want to appreciate my colleagues at undergraduate and postgraduate level. They have also created a true friendship environment for me to thrive as I was growing. Some of them are Fola Sholu Benga, Oduwaye, Tunde Abosede, and so on and so forth. I cannot forget my childhood friends and staunch folk who made significant impact in my development. And I want to recognize especially Mr. Shegun Adeleye, Anu Oluwapo Dosumu, Mr. Shino Shanusi, I've also seen him in this hall, Mr. Folabi Adekombi, Fam Ajayi, who is the current president of City Folks, our colleague in the college, Professor Biodun Babos, Mr. Jide Shofunde, and so on and so forth. I want to thank all of them for their kindness, sincerity, and generosity. On my journey in life, I must also acknowledge the contributions of some of my lecturers at my various points of academic training. Notably, the man that taught me at all the levels of education. He taught me at undergraduate. He taught me when I was doing my master's program in UNILAG. He also taught, eventually he became my supervisor for PhD. And that is Professor Shodi Longe. He was planning to come, but he had other engagements. I'm very sure he's also connected with us virtually. I must also recognize late Professor S.B. Jayesimi, late Professor B. A. Shofoluwe of UNILAG, and my current academic father and professional father, Professor Charles Iwadia. Professor Charles Iwadia, stand up for recognition, sir. All the way from UNILAG, past president NCS, past president CPN. And I must also recognize Mr. Niya Jao, Professor Ayeni, who supervised my MSc dissertation in UNILAG. My sincere appreciation goes to Professor A.R.T. Sholari, who facilitated the commencement of PhD program in the defunct Department of Mathematical Sciences. My Vice Chancellor, sir, let me tell you, sir, that some of us were already thinking of going to the north to do our PhD in computer science before PhD program started in the department. So I want to thank the university for that. I want to express my indebtedness and appreciation to many people in this university who had assisted in their respective capacity in providing an enabling environment for my growth and development. First among them is the current substantive Vice Chancellor, Professor Olushola Babatunde Kehinde, for giving me the opportunity to present this unique 80th inaugural lecture. I want to remind Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, 80 is very significant. It is known for a mother blessing. You know, it is known for comfort, and it is it's a number for champions. I want to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to give this inaugural lecture. I sincerely appreciate your friendliness, tenacity, leadership skills, commitment to the development of this university. I would like to appreciate the following former Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, for creating the needed opportunity for me to work in this university. I start with the second Vice Chancellor because I didn't meet the first Chancellor in this university. I start with Professor Julius Okoje, who approved my conversion from non-academic staff to academic staff in 2001. Professor Okoje did this just 2 days before he left office. I went to him. He said to me, Sodiya, you have come again. Go back to your office. Go back to your job. I don't want to see you. I go back to my office. After 1 or 2 hours, he invited me again. He said to me, Sodiya, I know that if I don't do this thing for you, you'll not be happy with me. Go and call your dean. Go and call the dean of that college. And so be it, I got converted from non-academic staff to academic staff. I also want to thank the third vice chancellor of this university, late Professor Israel Adu, for confirming my appointment as an academic staff in 2002. Also, the first vice chancellor, Professor Olaiya Olufemi Balogun, who gave me a selected appointment as a senior lecturer. The fifth vice chancellor, Professor Bamidele Oyewole, who appointed me as acting head of the department, computer science, and also processed my promotion to professorship. And the sixth vice chancellor, Professor F.K. Salako, for his encouragement and support to become the current national president of Nigerian Computer Society. Deputy Vice Chancellor Development, Professor K. Adebayo. The Registrar, Dr. Adebola Adekola. The Bossa, though I wrote the name of the former Bossa here, but I cannot act. I was very happy when I got to know today that my brother and my friend is now the acting Vice Chancellor. I mean, the acting Bossa. Unfortunately, you cannot be a Vice Chancellor. But Almighty God will make it to become the substantive Bossa. I would like to also thank the librarian, Dr. Owolabi. My thanks also goes to the principal officers, notably the current and the past principal officers of this university, notably Professor Dipelu, Professor Latif Soni, Professor Ariyo, Professor Owoka, Professor Lagoke, Professor Rolo, Professor Waid, Professor Adeofu, Professor Eromosele, who served as Deputy Vice Chancellor of this university. My profound thanks goes to my dean, my current dean, Professor A.T. Akinwale, who encouraged and support me to ensure that I showed interest in having this inaugural lecture. I also want to thank the head of department, computer science, Professor Mrs. Oti Arugundade, for her esteemed support and contribution, and for her coordination of activities towards this inaugural lecture. My regards goes to my colleagues, with whom I have worked harmoniously over the years, and have inspired me to provide the needed leadership. Let me especially mention Professor O. Folonsho, Professor Jesomi, Professor Noshoga, Professor Arugudade, Professor Vincent, Dr. Bralu, Dr. Abraham Miale, Dr. Boris Shade, Dr. Ojo, Dr. Alabi, Dr. Tinumbu, Dr. Falano, Dr. Adejimi, Mr. Ugumna, and Mrs. Karim. My heart is full of gratitude to other heads of department in the College of Physical Sciences, Professor Adewuyi, Professor Olajuwon, Professor Okeyode, Dr. Laiwola, and so on and so forth. They have all provided platform for enhancing good relationship and needed academic leadership in the college. I would like to appreciate the former deans of the College of Physical Sciences, Professor Remosele and Professor Mustafa. I've also cited the two of them in this gathering. I want to thank them for their leadership roles, continuous effort in lifting the college up. I also want to thank the present and past deputy deans, Professor Makinde and Professor Akilabi. I've also seen Professor Makinde in this gathering, for their loyalty and support in running the College of Physical Sciences. I am moved to fellow professors in the college for their assistance and genuine love at all times. Notably, Professor J.A. Oguntuashe, who led or championed the establishment of Department of Computer Science in this university. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, creating Department of Computer Science from mathematical sciences has been a problem in so many universities. But thank God it wasn't a problem in this university. And it was championed by even a mathematician of this university, Professor J. Oguntuashe. I also want to thank Professor Adesina, Professor Gola, Professor Meke, Professor Kiyemi, Professor Adebayo, Professor Okeyode, Arogundade, Professor Dare, and so on and so forth that I've listed in this, my presentation. I also appreciate the Dean of our sister college, Professor Mrs. Aikende, and the former deans of the defunct College of Natural Sciences, late Professor E.O. Ashiribo, Professor T.O.S. Kukola, and Professor A.D. Agbola. I would like to appreciate the present deans and former deans of various colleges in this great university for their love at all times. Professor Akiloye, Professor Ataiche, I've seen Professor Ataiche here, Professor Shuade, Professor Moniyi, Professor Fakoya, I've also cited him, Professor Dairo, Professor Idowu, Professor Bodunde, Professor Adewumi, and so on and so forth. I recognize and thank all of you for your support and encouragement at all times. My endless gratitude goes to my professional colleagues in Nigerian Computer Society and Computer Professional Registration Council of Nigeria. My Vice Chancellor, sir, I want to remind you that as of today, I'm still the president of Nigerian Computer Society, though we have done election. In very few days, I will be leaving as the president of Nigerian Computer Society. All my people from Nigerian Computer Society, they are with us here today. Let me start by recognizing the presence of the members of the National Executive Council. The members of the National Executive Council of Nigerian Computer Society. Well, the list here is long, but I've seen Dr. Charles Oyeku, I've seen, and I know that my deputy president, who is also the president-elect, is also joining us online. I've seen Professor Odele, I've seen Mrs. Silebi with us, I know Mrs. Margaret John David is also connected with us online, and so on and so forth. I want to especially thank the president of some of our interest groups that are also here, and I know some of them are also connected with us online. Especially, I want to thank Dr. Lon Yomi, the president of NIPIX. He came all the way from Akure to attend this inaugural lecture. I want to thank all the presidents of other interest groups and all the people that have also connected with us virtually online. I again want to thank our current provost in Nigerian Computer Society. She has also found time to come and be part of this inaugural lecture, and that is Mrs. Veronica Awolabi. She's also with us. I must recognize and appreciate some wonderful and exciting people that I met during my work, during my professional engagement as the president of Nigerian Computer Society. I'm aware that some of them are also connected online. The DG leader, Mr. Kashifu Noah, the DG NIMSI engineer Aziz, the executive secretary of TED Fund, MD of Galaxy Backbone, and so on and so forth. I want to thank all of them for participating and at this event, and I know majority of them are connected with us online. I wish to especially thank all my students, both undergraduate students and postgraduate students in Nigeria and abroad, for their contributions to my development, because as I was tutoring them, I was also learning from them. Some of them we have actually conducted high-impact research together with, and majority of my students are also attending this inaugural lecture. I want to thank all of you, and all the students that worked under me, please, I want you to be on your feet, please, so that the Vice Chancellor will know that I've actually done some work. All my students, whether PhD or my Vice Chancellor, sir, all the ones that have actually, majority of the ones that you are seeing are actually my PhD students. Thank you so much. I also want to recognize those that have joined us from outside this country. I have affiliation with so many organizations outside Nigeria. I want to especially thank my pastor. Well, when I saw him entering, I just sent invitation to him. I didn't know he was going to come. He did not even tell me that he was going to come. But my pastor of the province, Pastor Kolawole Ajimbo, who is also here, I want to thank you so much. And other church members that have come to grace this occasion, I thank you so much for participating at this program. I cannot end this lecture without appreciating the members of Publication Committee, led by Professor Bodunde and Professor Shotiloye, for their contributions. I know the work they did. They were really on my neck. You have not done this. You have not submitted. We thank you so much for the work members of Publication Committee are doing. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I am exceptionally grateful to my nuclear family. They have shown staunch and utter support through my academic career. They have always provided abundant care, meaningful guidance, and nurturing home. My children, Ibukoluwa, Ayomepo, Ireluwa, Anuoluwa, Sodiya, are special blessing in my life. Two of them are here. One is connecting with us virtually. Ayomepo and Anuoluwa, will you be on your feet for proper recognition? You can sit down. I deeply appreciate my delectable, alluring, dependable, sedulous, amiable, diligent wife, Professor Mrs. Comfort Guroke Sodiya. Please stand up for recognition, please. Well, let me say that this woman is the best for me because she understands me and she normally tolerates my excesses. Your presence in my life has indeed enabled my progress. Thank you for being there as a pillar of support and encouragement. My prayer is that God will continue to shield you, the children, and I, and bless us with good health and sound mind. I believe you cannot see Mama show or Mama extension. Which one should I say? Okay, these are my children. This is the family, the beautiful family. Don't worry, I will make it.
Please sit down. Please sit down. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the story of the muddy waters of the cyber security game. On behalf of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and the Vice Chancellor, Professor Olushola Kehinde, I present this plaque on your presentation of the 88th inaugural lecture of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Now you know what to do to win the game in cyber security. But before we round up today, I need to recognize friends of the university who are here. We have in the house Professor Adewale Olomu, the Chief Medical Director, Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta. We thank you for coming. We also have a very dear couple to me, Bishop Richard and Reverend Mrs. Adoni Ige. Bishop Richard Ige is the CAN chairman of the local government. You're welcome. We have friends from several universities in Nigeria here with us. We have friends from the Ogun State Ministry of Information. Mrs. Olutomi Shoremi is here with us. From the Rural Access and Agricultural Marketing Project, Ogunram, we have Mr. Adeleye Olusegun. We also have from the Computer Science Department of Babcock University, Professor Oludele Awodele. From the Computer Science Department, Kwara State University, Professor Karim Olagade. From the Department of Computer Science, University of Lagos, Dr. Adewale Rufai. From the DS Adegbenro ICT Polytechnic, we have Mr. Sesan Akinyemi and Mr. Kolawole Logunleko. From Crescent University, we have Mr. Lasisi Ismail. From Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwe, we have Dr. Ademola Adeshire. And of course, we have a former principal officer of this university, a former deputy vice chancellor academic, Professor Mrs. Oluyemisi Eromosile. And I cannot but recognize a special person, our father in the house, Professor Akin Omotayo. Professor Akin Omotayo, you are recognized. On this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, I also want to appreciate several people who have joined us online for the 88th inaugural lecture of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Thank you very much.
Please, a round of applause for the Vice Chancellor. Thank you very much, sir. I want to believe we all enjoyed the 88th inaugural lecture. If you are actually in spirit and mind with this lecture and with Professor Sodiya, you will notice he said 80 stands for comfort. he just sent a cryptic love message to his wife because he refused to add Sodiya. 80 stands for comfort, Sodiya. Thank you very much, sir, for the lecture. We appreciate you. So please, let's quickly take this announcement. After the lecture, after the exit of the procession, which will be through the exit A, the non-teaching staff are to remain in the hall, the right-hand side of the hall. Members of computer science department are to see Mr. Onolakbo. Invited guests to go through exit B, and students to stay in the gallery so that your refreshment will be taken care of properly there. This procession is to leave the hall through the center aisle, while academic staff are to take the exit A and go through there for their refreshments. So to this end, we have come to the end of on special recognition. The inaugural lecturers appreciating and recognize the presence of Dr. Chris Nwanana. Please, let's appreciate him, the past president. You're welcome, sir. So to this end, we are drawing the curtain of this 80th inaugural lecture. Please may we rise for the Funaab anthem, to be followed by national anthem.
Great and all the mountains far and
Thank you very much. Please, we are to remain standing while the procession exits the hall through the center aisle. We want to appreciate every one of us for making our time to be here at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, for this 80th inaugural lecture titled The Muddy Waters in Winning the Revolutionized Cybersecurity Game, delivered by Professor Adesina Simon Sodiya. We appreciate you for coming from all far and near, and we want to believe you enjoyed every bit of this lecture. We also look forward to seeing you next time the university will be holding its next inaugural lecture. Thank you very much once again. And please note, academic staff are to exit through the exit A by my right-hand side. On my right-hand side, the non-teaching